connecting your brain and body with interactive games and tests. Why is there no physical activity in today's health physical? Trazer is an holistic technology used to rehabilitate, prevent falls, and improve sport performance. Trazer reports provide you, your clinician, your physical therapist, or athletic trainer objective data to make decisions on your health and performance over time. Measure what matters to change your game. Take the Trazer Challenge. Confidence, growth, connected by Trazer.
Well, you thought you could get rid of me, didn't you? You thought you could get rid of me for a week. But see, this is what happens when I take time away from doing what I love, which is following the WNBA. And then they go make some just ridiculous, I still, my head cannot wrap around red on social media. So, I had to be on tonight. I wasn't trying to, honest to God. This is not like, oh, Eric's got to be on every week. No, look at me. I'm at the National Scouting Combine. I have interviewed players all day long. I have been in the mix with athletes from all across the country, all across the globe, trying to promote them. But the WNBA just had to go and mess it up. So, with that being said, welcome into the Sports Arena. I'm your man, Eric Wilson. On a Wednesday night, I got a jam-packed show, and the entire crew is with me. And again, I feel like we probably going to uncomfortable conversations. So this ain't for the weak of heart, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to let you know. Let's keep it 100 because that's what we do. Let me go ahead. Matter of fact, I'm taking the hat off tonight because this is it. We going to get serious about it. Let me get the crew in here. I'm starting with the Queen of Hoops, Megan Price. I'm starting with John Shear. I got my boy Mike Caratudo, and of course, I got Ray Lynn. Good evening, everybody. I have missed y'all. Thank you for all holding me down the other day on Monday night. That was a great show. I watched it. How are y'all doing? Let me ask that question. Megan Price, how you doing?
Doing really well. How are y'all?
John Shear, what's up?
Oh, I'm doing well. Number one team in the East. Unlike some people that don't give us credit on Monday, I'm just saying.
Mike Caratudo, my boy. I'm closer to you than I am most people right now. I'm in Indianapolis. I don't know what the distance is, but anyhow, what's up, baby? How are you?
About 1,500 miles. So you're closer, about half the distance. Closer. So I can feel it, and you're doing some great stuff, man. I'm doing good, man. The Suns are going to get back on track and win tonight, and I care less about best team in the East. I just care about the best record in the league. So. But you're doing awesome, man. Not that surprises me.
Ooh, stomping the Bucks by 14 right now. Nice.
I know you kill it out there. Nice. So looking good, my man.
Yeah, next year. Yeah, let me just say this. Next year, I'm not gonna lie, brother needs some help. This has been an amazing event as always. That what Jimmy and the entire crew do, but your boy needs some help from the media side of things. I need my crew, my team with me. Ray Lynn, brother, talk to me. What's up?
I'm excited.
Good.
I'm excited.
So good. So let's get down to business here. I'm just going let's keep it 100, y'all. I don't know what John is. John, we got the score, okay? Miami's beating
I'm just saying, man.
Yeah.
Stop the Bulls. Stop the Bucks. Sixers are next.
We will get back. We will get to the NBA in a minute. But first, we talking WNBA, okay? So, last season. No, you know what? Better yet, hear it from the queen first, and then I'll chime in after the fact. So let's hear it from the queen of hoops herself, Miss Megan Price.
So we saw yesterday that the WNBA levied a fine to the New York Liberty for $500,000, and with a few threats behind that as well, that they could possibly have more fines coming if they continue to do this for using chartered flights towards the end of the season for their players. And it seems like a ridiculous amount of money. It seems like a ridiculous fine to even happen in the first place. But what you have to understand is that the WNBA signs a collective bargaining agreement, and it was signed in 2020. So they still have 8 years left of that, or 7 years left of that agreement left. So unless they are able to call an emergency session to reevaluate the CBA, it's still going to continue on this way. Like, those are the rules. The rules were broken. It was meant to keep owners making a better market, drawing players to other teams when the other teams don't have as much money. So this is supposed to keep it fair within the league. Do I think it's the right thing? No. The thing that they talk about that the league needs the most is they need more money in the league. And so if owners with more money are able to spend it on their players, you can see it from that side of things, but it is a signed agreement. And so this is what these people agree to. And when I say these people, I mean the players union. Your president, Nneka Ogwumike, and her sister is the VP. So that's the problem right there. Those two right there. And as much as you want to shower those ladies with praise, they signed this agreement and it was voted in. What do you do from here? I think you have to find a way to call an emergency and reevaluate the CBA.
Okay. All right. So thank you, Queen, for me up to speed on this, because I've only read snippets of it. What annoyed me to no end, and was the reason why I'm even on the show tonight, is the fact that one of the potential punishments was removing guys from the WNBA. The New York Liberty, one of the originals that started this organization, that was a part of, they've been there for 25 years. And you fitting to just remove them like that because they broke this rule? And I get it, okay? When you paperwork and you sign the agreement, you are signing the contract. It's no different than when you agree to work at any type, is what this is. Granted, it is a job that they love, but it is a job. But you would go so far as to say a possible punishment is removal of the franchise. I mean, listen, if you want to take away all the draft picks and stuff like that, that even still blows my mind. But why are we getting so severe with this punishment? When in the grand scheme of things, and I challenge anybody, I'll shoot you the link tonight. Come on the show and change my damn mind, because guess what? It won't happen. But this is ridiculous. You going to terminate a franchise because they were trying to cater to their players? Curt Miller, the head coach of the Connecticut Sun, I posted this during the playoffs last year. He talked about what these women had to endure for a playoff series when it was Chicago and Connecticut. Seven planes had to take two teams with their coaching staff between Connecticut and Chicago. 7 planes? You miss me with that. And John, I want to go to your comment, because you said this would make you boycott the team. I boycott the WNBA is what you said. And I'm gonna retort that by saying you're a damn fool if you do that. I understand your reasoning behind it, but you a damn fool if you allow this to be the reason you no longer support those that are still going out there for 101 days, which is what their season is, their regular season is this year, because upper management decides that this is what's happening.
No, I would boycott if they terminate the franchise. I'm not opposed to the fines. The fines, I understand. Rules are rules. Draft picks, I understand rules are. I think it's a little excessive saying we're going to take every draft pick possible. That's a little excessive, but I get that. But if you're willing to terminate a franchise over this, I feel like that's just overkill. Like someone mentioned in the comments, it's just overkill. That's unnecessary. That to me just means that you're tone deaf. Like you're trying to draw in fans, you're trying to draw more media people talking about, you're trying to draw more attention, and you're willing to terminate a franchise, an up and coming franchise over that?
This ain't even up and coming, John.
No, but you know what I mean? Like
they've been there since the inception.
No, but I'm saying, Liberty are going to be a popular franchise. There's a lot of good things going for them.
And there's a lot of history there.
I think that it's good for the WNBA, what the Liberty have been doing with how they've really built their team lately. I think it's good for the WNBA. I think it's going to be good for young fans to see that. They look like a fun team, and you need that. So if you're willing to terminate a franchise over this, that to me just says, that just says that you're tone deaf. To me, that's not a league I want to be a part of. And that's I'm not one that just says something to say something. Like if you're willing to do that over something that small, I just don't think I could support a league like that. But thankfully, they didn't do it, at least not yet. And everything else, like I said, I'm fine with rules are rules, but that just doesn't seem like a necessary punishment.
I mean, I
I'm gonna let Mike.
What you're trying to get at about that is with the Liberty is like they have the number one selling jersey in the league. It's in Sabrina. So this is not just a team that which in the rules are the same for everybody, but this is a money-making team for them.
Don't even get me started on jerseys. Don't even get me started on jerseys.
Oh, I know. We can't find them anywhere.
No. So now I have been able to find a Chicago Sky jersey. Granted, it ain't the black or the white. It's the rebel blue that they have. But it still is not every other jersey out there. Go ahead, John. But
can I just preface that by saying,
because I'm going to go to Ray Lynn and I want to go to Mike. Go ahead.
I'm reading some of the comments about how they should do better, and Ray makes great points. I've read all of his comments on Facebook and to us on our chats. He makes great points about how if they're operating in the red, there's no money. How can you just up and say, well, they should be better taken care of? Like if there's no money, you can't give them an unfair advantage when it comes to just saying, hey, this team gets charter flights, this team doesn't. Like that creates an imbalance. So if there's not money, they're operating the red. Ray's completely right. Everything he said about that, I completely get. But like I said, the killing the franchise is just stupid to me.
Mike, Ray Lynn, go ahead, get in there, please.
Yeah, no, I saw what James wrote, and it's funny because I was going to say, Raylan, we talk about money, and John, I don't want to hear it's no money. It's like when you go to a car dealership, and back in the day, they used to be like, oh, you got us go. We're making no money on this. If you're making no money, you're not selling a car. If they're making no money or there's no money, there's no team. So these owners do have the money, or they wouldn't be buying in. These owners get vetted by leagues, whether it's a WNBA. Yeah, the bigger the league, I get it. NBA.
They're operating in the red.
Okay, right. Each team's not operating in the red as a league because they haven't done a good job. We talk about this in marketing, but for the Liberty, Eric, yeah, it's a joke. When I saw like you're talking about expansion and you're gonna can a franchise because the owner says, hey, we're chartering your flight from here to there. It's absolutely ridiculous. And if the owners want to do it, again, I'm not saying it should be the wild, wild west, but inevitably, when you talk about, and like you said, when you post that thing about Connecticut's coach, seven planes, like if that happened to, again, and I even think about
any NFL franchise, any other professional league. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. So that being with New York, though, you're going to sit there and say that. Yeah, I know they obviously have the ownership group. Owners have money. And yeah, they can't obviously probably keep, taking $500,000 fines. But out of spite in the playoffs, I would charter flights just to stick it to the league because you're right. The players did sign Megan's right. The players did sign this, the CBA. But when it comes to travel, I've never heard, and maybe that's because of the part of any CBA, like we're going through with Major League Baseball, we don't hear about. I've never heard anything in football or anything, basketball, baseball, hockey, Eric, about anybody disagreeing on travel. So if owners want to freaking pay to charter a flight, again, it is their team. It's their right. They put the money to put up the team, get in the league, all that stuff. So yeah. And when other owners, and that's why I'm saying, John, when you tell me, they're operating red, they have no money. Yeah. Mark Davis, could charter flights for the whole damn league. Let's just put it. Let's just put that right there. It's not his responsibility, but again, if he wants to charter flights for his team,
and he would.
Exactly.
He would charter. He said that he would do that, but because of the CBA, he's not allowed to do that. He said he wanted to pour money into the WNBA.
All right, so hold on. Before we go any further, I want to let Raylan, because he's been sitting here patiently. I want to get Raylan's thoughts on this because I want to know what he's talk to me.
Before I even give my thoughts, I have this question for the panel, if we want to call it that. Who knows what rule they broke?
What do you mean?
Okay, I have not read the collective bargaining agreement for the WNBA, so
it's in there. No, how they travel is it a part of the CBA? It is a part of it, and the lady signed it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't.
So,
what
so
you mean?
Just for the record.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I assumed coming into this conversation, because I know how hard this cast goes for the WNBA and fighting for the women, right? So I downloaded the CBA and been reading it all day. The entire WNBA collective bargaining agreement, like Megan said, it is in there word for word how they are supposed to travel. It even has the word economy in there, or economy plus. That's what they put in their CBA. And the reason they put it in their CBA is because they don't have any money. I don't know why this is such a tough thing to grasp. I don't know why we turned this into an equality thing and a women's rights thing.
Nobody did. Nobody turned it into that.
In an overall general state, right?
Okay.
Every time we talk about the WNBA, the conversation is going to digress back to, we was just talking about the playoffs, right? We can't keep comparing the WNBA to any other professional sport, because now it's going to all come back to money when we go. That wouldn't have happened to the NFL, and they had to get 7 flights. The reason they had to get 7 flights is because their CBA clearly states in black and white that they will travel economy or economy plus. It says that in black and white, meaning the owner, when he did this, he was putting the middle finger up to the entire WNBA saying, I know what it says, but I'm going to do it my way because I have the money and I want to. So now the situation you run into is like college recruiting. If college recruiting could give students gifts legally, right? We know they do it. But if they could just openly just give kids whatever they wanted to, it becomes a free-for-all, and whoever got the deepest pockets is going to get the best players. So if you have one owner that says, I can charter my team, and you let them do it, and this owner can't, and all the players have been complaining about for the past year is being uncomfortable in flights, having to pay to upgrade their tickets and things like that. If I got an owner over there that's going to charter me everywhere, y'all don't think that's a recruiting advantage?
Yep. Guess who everybody's going to sign with? Yeah.
The owner that's going to. So as an owner, we have the reason when the players talk about pay, right? The WNBA players say, hey, we don't get paid as much as whatever, because there's a CBA in place. We can only pay you according to what the CBA has. I looked at the CBA. They have the exact dollar amount for their food stipend is in there. The exact way they will sleep in hotels is in there. They're allowed to get cars for 2 people to share when they get to visit. Like when they visit to another place, they got to play road games. The team can provide a vehicle for 2 players to share. Now I know this because I read the CBA before I had this conversation. So we can't be mad at he intentionally broke the rules. Did I think they ever had any intent of actually getting rid of the team? No, but it was them telling the owner, you're not going to play us neither. You know the rules, and you're going to intentionally break the rules and stick it to us. Don't play these games with us. We'll get rid of your whole team. I don't think they ever intended to do that, but they had to send a message and say, you knew the rule. If an owner in the WNBA broke the CBA that negatively affected players, everybody would have a fit. If the CBA said you're supposed to pay the players this, you're supposed to do this, and an owner didn't do it, and they punished him for breaking the rules of the CBA, y'all would have a fit. I can't believe he did that. It's the same thing. He intentionally knowingly broke the rules.
Raylan, but I'm tired of saying that. I get the fact that the teams might not be worth as much as teams in the NBA, but you're not owning a professional sports franchise at any level unless you have a huge group in deep pockets. So again, they did sign that CBA, and yes, when they signed the CBA,
that's why I said that the players should be angry with their players' union,
right?
The president and the VP, the Gumake sisters. That's who you need to be upset with, because that's who arranged your agreement.
Right. But but they had to go back to the players, and the players looked at it and talked about it. And of course, the first thing, even when we talk about the NFL, we talk about how they get screwed out of their contracts. It comes down to money. So yes, they want as big a piece of the pie as they can get. And now that they finally
hold on, Mike, this ain't about money. Stop, Mike. This is not about money. Stop with that, okay? Get money out your vocabulary. This is not about money. This is about
the owners.
Fact.
But Raylan's saying the owners, and that's what I'm saying. Don't tell me that they don't have money because they can all charter flights. They signed the CBA because they don't want to.
Well, then, okay. Then
may I?
I'm gonna say this, John, and then go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
So then, to Megan's point, Nneka and her sister need to be held accountable.
Mm-hmm.
The owners need to be held accountable, and this needs to change, because I agree with what Raylan is saying. Okay, when you sign the contract, it's in black and white, and thank you, Raylan, for downloading that. I would like, if you please would PDF or send that to me, because I would like to read that as well. I am just of the mindset that for them to go and publicly say, and when you put it on Twitter or put it on social media, or you put it in Sports Illustrated, shout out to Howard Megdal for putting the article out there. When you say you're going to remove a franchise, what? This isn't an expansion team.
I think they had to, though. I don't think they ever had the intent to actually do it, but I think they had to say very loudly, we're not about to allow the next owner to do this when he thinks it's okay. I don't think they ever had any intent to really move.
Because don't you think Mark Davis was watching that and was like, oh, okay, y'all going to let them get away with it? Because he wants to pour money into his players.
Yeah, I think they had to say very boldly and loudly, we will not stand for this. So the next owner did think, oh, I got deep pockets, I can do it too. No, we're not playing them. Let's nip this in the bud.
But those that are critical of Liz and the athletes that are speaking out, how do you expect problems to get addressed if it's not called out? They got to call it out. So instead of saying, oh, these ladies shouldn't speak up for themselves, they're doing exactly what they should do. They should speak out, but they just need to add to their criticisms, not only the WNBA, but that their players union, because their players union is what got them this agreement.
Right. All the players agreed to it.
Mike, hold on. Let me get John in here because he's been patiently waiting.
So what nobody is mentioning is that when the CBA was signed, there wasn't as much popularity in the WNBA. That's the thing, is like we weren't at the place then as we are at now with the WNBA. It's slowly gaining popularity. It's a process. Megan, you've said that many times. It's a process. We all understand it. All these leagues had to go through their growing pains at some point. When the CBA was signed, there's a reason why the players and the players union thought that they could get what they could get, and they signed that, because they weren't in 2022. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
And in a couple years, whenever they get a new one, I hope
it's not a couple of years.
Is going to be
8-7 years.
But you know what I mean? When they get to that point, we all hope that they're going to be a lot more popular, making more money. And then when they sign that CBA, guess what? They're going to have a lot more luxuries, a lot more things that go in their favor, because the league is, at least I presume, making a lot more money, and they're a lot more popular, a lot more fans. See how that works? That's what nobody's talking about.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to Raylan, and then I'm going to go to Megan with the final word, and then we are going to move past this, because we could sit here and talk about this all night long, but I don't think that it's going to benefit any of us to this is a conversation that is not going away anytime soon. I do want to see what the league's ultimate decision is, because yes, they were fined, instead of $1 million, they were fined $500,000. And Raylan, you make a solid point. What we ask is for accountability, and bringing that, just reminding me of that. Because sometimes, how I am with the WNBA. I am very, rose-colored glasses, and I got a biased opinion when it comes to that league. So that's why I had to be on here tonight. And I thank you all for having this conversation with me, as always. But Raylan, thank you for reminding me of the accountability piece, because we talk about it, but a lot of times we don't be about it. And in this case, the WNBA said exactly, in, paraphrasing what you said, no, we nipping this BS in the bud right now, so that no one else can say, hey, they did it, so we can get away with it. So I'm going to give you the second to last word, Megan, the final word. We're going to go to break, and then we'll come back.
I just want to kind of tap on a couple of things, Eric. You said it's not about money, But with the WNBA, the conversation is always going to come. It's going to come back to money because that's kind of the root of all their problems, right? Like we hear the players saying they want to be treated better and they want accommodations. And then in the same conversation, not tonight, not nobody specific, just the overall general conversation is like, but we don't want to be compared to, but they do, because like the only reason we're having any of these conversations is because we're looking at the treatment or lack of that they receive, or the amenities and accommodations that they don't have, in comparison to what we see other professional leagues who've been doing this for 50, 75, 100 years, right? What they have. Nobody will ever jump up and down and complain about a minor league baseball team having to bus it from town to town. Those are professional athletes, but we understand that they're not the MLB, right? So when you look at the WNBA, you can look at their numbers. Eric, the first conversation me and you ever had live online, we talked about attendance, we talked about ticket sales, talked about the fact that they play a 30-some-odd game season instead of 80 compared to the like it's a whole different thing, and nobody's looking at the grinded process, the paying the dues. If anybody watched, and this is my last point, Charles Barkley and Dr. J's interview, I encourage you, please go watch it. They did the NBA at 75. Charles Barkley sat down with Dr. J. And when they said that, this was before the Liberty got fined, Charles Barkley was talking to Dr. J about when he first came to the team as a rookie. He was like, man, you know how it was when we came in back then. This was the 80s. We wasn't making them what these guys is making now. We was flying. He was like, and if you was coming off the bench and one of the 12 guys, you was sitting in the back of the plane. It wasn't until you got a little money in your pocket that you start flying first class. This is Charles Barkley talking, one of the 50 greatest players, one of the 75 greatest players. Man got an MVP. And he is saying on national TV that in the 80s, I was flying in the back of the plane because I ain't had no money, and that's how they was getting us around. Now, with the league where it's at now, TV deals and how things have evolved, they doing what they doing. The WNBA players, the people who cape for them, have to see the same process. It is going to be rough for a little bit. Mind you, this was in the 80s. Barkley said this. NBA came in existence in the 40s, 50s, something like that. So this was 30, 40 years in. WNBA is what? About 30 some odd years in?
They're going into the 26th season.
26th season. They're just getting mainstream, right? So like John said, when they signed that CBA, those players, the Gumakwe sisters, they thought that was probably the best they could do because they wasn't making no money at that time. So again, the part that they're doing right now, they won't reap the benefits. Their daughters and granddaughters will reap the benefits, but they got to pound the pavement now and just understand this is all about money. It's always going to be about money. I'll rest on that, Eric.
Megan, I'll give you the final word, then we're taking a break.
And to piggyback off of what Raylene said was that, this is a company that's been in existence. They have 25 years under their belt going into their 26th year, and it's going to take some time to continue to build with that. I say that all the time, that it's a process and they're continuing to build. But the reason I say you hold the Agumake sisters accountable, yeah, maybe that's what they thought they could get. It was signed 2 years ago, y'all. Their views were going up at that point in time. But truly, you can't pay something if you have nothing to pay. So, that's pretty simple right there. But at this time, you can't be critical of the athletes calling them out. How do you think change happens? You call out what's wrong, and then over time, it gets changed because people see that it's wrong. So I continue to support the athletes that call out what's not right. And so maybe they can get an emergency CBA.
Let's hope. Again, thank y'all for letting me be on the show tonight. I ain't going nowhere. We still got a half hour, but like I said, I got a soft spot for the women of the WNBA because, and real talk, man. It was 2020. It was the bubble. They were in my backyard, and they showed love to me from Atlanta to Connecticut to Indiana, Minnesota, Phoenix, LA, Vegas, and of course, the team that I have been a fan of and am a fan of and I'm invested in Chicago. No disrespect to Dallas or anybody else that I forgot. I'm just in Washington. I could go through all 12, but so I take what happens to that whole entire organization personally. And sometimes I need to just get my vent out. I need to rant, and I need y'all to kind of reel me back in. So thank you for that. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to transition to the NBA because we got some things we want to talk about. And I got to show love to somebody on this panel, which I will do when we come back. And welcome back into the Sports Arena on Wednesday night. The whole entire crew is with me, minus the big guard. And I have to admit, I kind of missed the big guard I saw on Monday night. He seemed very passionate about some of the things that y'all were talking about. I was like, wait a minute. This is the most I've seen Tyree speak in a while. I was like, whoa, y'all hit a nerve or something with the brother?
You know why that is, right?
I do. I do.
He been in pain.
Okay. So, like I said, I got to show love to somebody here on this panel. And let me just go ahead and get it off my chest. For my brother of 12, possibly 15 years, Mike Caratenuto, to actually come on the Sports Arena and admit that Joel Embiid is the MVP. Mike, you made my heart skip a beat a little bit, brother. I thought for sure you were probably going to go with somebody else. You had everybody else to choose from, but you chose Joel Embiid. So I want to say, Mike, you're my dog, man. I love you. But with that, I have to ask you a question. Mm-hmm. Devin Booker now is getting healthy and CP3 is out. So I'm going to ask Megan's question from the chat. Are your Phoenix Suns in a bit of trouble, my friend?
No, I mean, Aaron Holiday came back today, and yes, Aaron Holiday isn't campaigning. He just with the team, but they got Monty Williams. I said from last year, even when he first got hired, actually being at that presser and just being around a few Suns things like this time for him, head coaching around, like you said, I mean, he said it, it's night and day. And I mean, I know I would sound like a broken record, but it's just when coaches get it at every level.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ruth the Truth is making a special guest appearance on the Sports Arena tonight. Hold on, let me get the logo out of here. Yeah, she's sitting here. She's with me at the National Scouting Combine. She wanted to come by and say hello. You know, Ruth, we do miss you, by the way. You should be on the show more.
When are you going to be on the show again?
Yeah, big time.
Now, yeah. Ruth is definitely big time. She's doing a lot of great things. I will say this way before I let you continue. Ruth hopped on a plane from Vegas, came out here. She's been out here with me since Monday night, and she's been holding it down. When I tell you that there are two women that I am especially proud of when it comes to just seeing a part of their success, of course, our queen of hoops is one of them. But the woman, Ruth the Truth, is another one, because for the last 4 years, I've seen her evolve. I've seen her just grow as a person. And just the compliments that I'm getting all week long from people like major players in the NFL world and in the football world, they are all like, where did she come from? Like, they are excited to have her back next year. Like, I'm telling you, I need the entire Sports Arena Sideline Sports Network crew out here next year for the National Scouting Combine. This is no joke. It is getting better and better. And the access that we always get, what Jimmy has allowed me to do over the last 5 years, it is something amazing. And I need y'all, because this could truly be a week of just us blowing up. John Scheer knows that we are working on things to put ourselves on the map. Shameless plug for all of us.
If the owners charter my flights, then I definitely will be out there.
I knew it.
Hey,
there he goes.
So many comments, because that's what happens when you get a Cowboys fan working with you.
Oh, Jesus.
No.
Yes.
No.
Hey, thank you so much, Ruth. I love you. Be safe in Colombia, please. Yeah, she's heading to Colombia. But go ahead, Mike.
No, but I mean, with the Suns, of course, someone like Chris Paul, and I know Raylan always likes to say this and that. I mean, about Chris Paul and everybody's injury prone. I mean, last year he fought through the shoulder. I was watching Say It Again last night, and of course that comes up about LeBron and AD being injured, and all the LA once superstars like that get injured, all the excuses and Chris Paul, he's injury prone. Okay, well, he played through the shoulder. They beat the Lakers. They get all the way to the finals. But yeah, I mean, of course you're going to miss him, Eric. I mean,
I didn't ask if you were going to miss him. I said, are they in trouble?
No, well, I'm saying they're going to miss him, but I don't think they're in trouble. Yeah, Devin Booker, as long as Holiday comes back, and Campaign should be back next week. From talking to my guys around the Sun. So, I mean, I don't know if there's rushing it or saying it, but it looks like he'll be back in action next week. So you get him back, and then you can adjust the bench a little bit and the depth that they have in Monty Williams. So no, because there's 20 after tonight when they play Portland, they have like 20 games left. So, I mean, literally if they go like 10-10 in that, we were still talking the other night, but the Warriors would have to go, and they dropped 3 straight, but the Warriors would have to go basically undefeated the rest of their games to catch the Suns.
Memphis. But
I'm just saying,
Memphis is only a half game behind Golden State.
Right, but if the Suns just go 500, those teams would have to do that. So, I mean,
I'm just saying, don't forget Memphis.
Let's talk about Memphis then. So let me go to John, since you brought up Memphis, John.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the Memphis Grizzlies, and then I definitely want to hear from the Queen and from Ray Lynn as well about this, because like you said, we got about 20, 25 games, somewhere in that realm.
Yeah,
before
about
the
21
season.
games. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say 21 games before the season comes to an end and the playoffs start. Ain't this gut check time, John Scherer?
For who? For
Golden State, for Memphis,
there's
no
Phoenix, gut check with. There's no gut check with Memphis. They're proven that they belong. We don't know what they're going to be in the playoffs because they don't really have the experience. So we can't really say, much like we saw the Knicks last year and we didn't know what they would do without experience. We don't know what the Cavs are going to do without experience. These young teams that have no idea what it's like to play in the playoffs, really, we don't know what they're going to do. We know what Golden State's capable of. We know what the Phoenix Suns are capable of. We know what these teams like that are capable of. But I'm not really saying gut check time for Memphis because they're going to be there at 2 or 3. And, like I said, I don't know what they're going to be without that playoff experience. I'm not sure, but Golden State will be fine. I mean, they're going through a little bit of a lull right now, but 2 or 3, it doesn't really matter. They still got Steph and Clay and, and the crew. I mean, they're fine. Phoenix, like Mike said, he stole what I was going to say. 6.5 game lead, 21 games left. Really, I mean,
hold on, Ray Lynn, you on the show and you dropping comments, bro.
Yeah, the Bucks came back and won by one.
One of Miami's flaws, and I watched them a lot. One of their flaws is they get complacent. And much like the Spurs game, you watch how they fell. They started out slow, and the Spurs had a big lead. This is what the Miami Heat do. This is one of their flaws, is where they get complacent, and they don't play up to their level. And then they kind of go through these.
Get that right, because
they go through these lulls. That's one of the Miami Heat's flaws. But to get back to the Western Conference, Golden State will be fine. Phoenix, 6.5 game lead with 21 games. It's almost impossible to blow that lead. They'll be just fine. That's going to be 1, 2, 3 right there. And, that's that.
Let me go to Megan Price, and then I do have a question for Ray Lynn. So, Megan Price, it is the Western Conference. Talk to me about this, because Phoenix, a proverbial playoff, maybe deep playoff run team, but, the loss of CP3, the loss of the floor general, does have an impact.
Most definitely. I think they're going to be fine with Campaign. And if he does come back next week, they'll be perfectly fine. He's capable. He played in several games. The CP3 was injured in the playoffs last year. So he has some great experience. Devin Booker went into health and safety protocols. So at most, he's out for 2 weeks. So I think he'll be fine. I think we'll see him about the same time we see Campaign back. And with a 6.5 game lead, I think they have a nice cushion. I don't expect them to lose the number 1 seed during this period. I expect to see record-breaking Devin Booker games. That's what I expect to see. And Campaign's going to be over there playing really well, facilitating the ball, and Cam Johnson's going to be over there shooting the ball really well. So I think that team will be just fine. And that 1-2 punch that they have with their centers, with JaVale McGee and DeAndre Ayton, I think that team is very well constructed to get through injuries. However, I do think Memphis can catch Golden State. And then that's a matchup nightmare for Golden State, just personally, because Memphis just plays them so well. It's concerning to me for the Warriors that we haven't seen Draymond Green yet. He's been injured for a while. We continue to hear, he'll be back. And then he continues to have setbacks. So that to me is a little concerning for Golden State. But yes, their experience, I don't think these 3 teams are going to change. Those are going to be the 3 teams. The only thing we might see difference is Golden State may go to 3, and we might see Memphis at number 2.
Wow. All right. So Ray Lynn, I got a question, and y'all talked about it last night on Ty's show. Say what, say it again. Only 4 teams can win from the first round. How confident are you that Memphis and a Chris Paul-less Phoenix Suns get out of the first round?
More confident with Memphis, and there's not a shot at Phoenix, is because of who they may have to play, right? Phoenix is very good. I will say that if we believe all the things that people believe about Chris Paul, then there's no way that people can think like that's not going to have an impact on the team with him being out. Like, he's Chris Paul. He's one of the greats, right? So, and then on top of that, you lose Devin Booker to health and safety protocol. So you lose your 2 best players. That's going to be tough sledding for them. The schedule isn't that difficult. They got a few heavy hitters on there. They got to see Milwaukee. They got to see Miami. They got to see Memphis, Golden State, but that's out of 20 games. Out of 20, 12 of them look like quote unquote sure wins. We was talking about the East being difficult to get the first round. In the West, I think in the first round, Golden State, Memphis, and Utah, not locks, but I would pick them very confidently. And again, it's not really a shot at Phoenix. Whoever gets LA in the first round, if LA wins the play-in, it's a long shot, but you have LeBron James. Like, that's just one of those things. It's like, that's LeBron James. And with the healthy AD, like, that's going to be a very tough out. Just that simple. Like, if you ask me who in the bottom could make a run, if LA gets up to the 7th seed, you don't want to play. Golden State don't want to play them. So it ain't just a Phoenix thing. If Memphis gets to that number 2 seed and draw LA in the first round, good night. They would beat Memphis. Golden State and Phoenix, not so much. They would beat Memphis, though.
Okay. So Megan, I'm going to kick it back to you because we have someone chiming in, Courtney Kennedy chiming in saying Memphis don't want Dallas first round. Now, I know you're
and that's a good point. That's a really good point. Dallas is really hot right now. They got Spencer Dinwiddie in that trade for Kristaps Porzingis, and he's starting to come into his own. And I think that we'll see Tim Hardaway Jr. sooner than later. I think we see him before the playoffs, hopefully. And that'll make a huge difference for Luka too. That's really his right-hand man before anybody else. And then also, I got to give credit to Jason Kidd. Y'all know how much I do not like him. He's on the list, but you got to give credit to him. He looks like he was the right guy for the job, and it's going well for them over there. So I give them a lot of credit. But I want to shout it out real quick. I am not a Dallas fan. I'm a Spurs fan.
No, I was going to say that.
Like Jason Kidd. What did Jason Kidd do?
He's a woman beater.
Oh, well, yeah, he had that issue in Phoenix. Although it
looks like he's the right guy for the job over there in Dallas, and I will give credit where it's due.
So
he turned it around. But
my problem with Dallas is it's kind of like the Utah Jazz. Like, they're very good in the regular season. You kind of know when they get to the playoffs, there's only one guy that can create a shot. That's my biggest issue with Dallas the last couple of years in the playoffs is Luka or bust. And he's been putting up godly video game numbers in the playoffs, and they still can't win. I don't know how much Spencer Dinwiddie. He's another guy who can create a shot. But the funny thing is, Kristaps Porzingis was literally the perfect complement to him, right? He was a big who don't really need the ball a lot. Okay, rim protector, and then he's a floor spacer too.
Yeah, but Raylan, you said it 2 weeks ago. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. He was hurt like 70% of the time. He was with Luka.
The AD effect, right? It's like when he's on the court, like, you live with it. I'm simply saying you traded a guy who was a perfect complement. You picked up a guy who kind of needed the ball in his hands.
It's a compliment on the court, but in the locker room, apparently there was issues.
I've heard that as well. I'm just speaking on Dallas in the playoffs, right? Like, we know what the formula is. Like, for as much as people hated James Harden, Luka Doncic plays exactly the same way. He holds the ball for 20 seconds out of the 24 on the shot clock. Dribble. I'm either pass it or shoot it. Like, so I don't know how much I believe in Dallas.
They do have Boban. He's a rim protector.
He's great in State Farm commercials too. But Raylan, there's no way Memphis. Look, I'm not saying the Lakers couldn't beat him. I think Memphis would run the Lakers off the court, especially if they're just coming back. They're just going to want to run up and down the court. Yeah, I get playoff basketball. They say, oh, it's a half-court game. Memphis is going to get out and run. By game 3, the Lakers would be gassed.
That's an old folks home.
I'm just saying, if they make it a half-court series, then they probably beat Memphis. I'm with Raylan on that. But if Memphis is able to run up and down the court, no way.
So Eric, please tell me we're going to talk about the East.
Oh, yeah, we're going to transition to them in just a moment. Mike likes to, Mike always got to be slight and just throw some shade every once in a while. But John did it tonight. It wasn't you. It was John. John talking about his allergies are acting up, talking about the old folks' home that is Los Angeles. Man, I'm waiting to see if Todd's going to say anything. Megan Price, too. What is with y'all in the chat tonight? Y'all on the screen, everybody in the chat. I'm like, okay, let's just switch to the East. I'm going to add my own chat, too. But no, let's move over to the East. God, I have missed y'all. I really have. Listen, first off, I want to thank all of y'all except for John Shear because you weren't on Monday night. Yep. For unanimously saying that Joel Embiid is pretty much going to be the MVP and that Harden, whether he's in shape or out of shape, is still going to put up 28, 12, and 14, whatever the numbers were. Forgive me. So I said it before, and it was a bold prediction. I said Philly is making the Eastern Conference Finals. Book it. Anybody want to jump on the bandwagon? I got some Kool-Aid. Y'all want to drink the Kool-Aid right now?
Hey,
I think it's very possible. I think it's very possible.
It's not possible.
John Scheer.
Okay.
Their roster's terrible outside of 2 players.
Miami tonight.
Their roster is terrible outside of 2 players.
Tyrese Maxey is not terrible.
In the playoffs, I don't care about Tyrese Maxey.
Terrible.
Eric, don't you dare, all the way at the National Scouting Combine, come on here and let John Scheer piss on your parade. Don't you do it. Don't you let John Scheer do that. Listen.
It depends on if Harden brought the fat suit to Philly or not.
And apparently he didn't. Hey,
maybe
Eric,
he just eat the cheesesteaks and he'll get fat naturally.
Hey, Eric, you want to know what happened tonight, Eric? Sure. You want to know what happened tonight? Tyrese Maxey, 25 points. Embiid, 27 and 12. Harden, 26, 9 and 9. And another win for Philly. They said it wouldn't work.
Yeah. Didn't you just get done saying that the Mavericks are
They said that Seth Curry and Andre Drummond was too much for James
Did you mention that the Mavericks are a regular season team and then it's different in the playoffs? Because that's Philly.
How is it Philly?
Oh my God. Philly never comes through the playoffs.
John,
there it is.
You are seriously going to sit up here. No, you're not. No, John, you are not going to sit here and get away with that. Okay, I give one of Megan's favorite people in the whole wide world, Kawhi Leonard, a lucky bounce. That is exactly you know what I mean, Megan. He ain't invited to the cookout. I understand, but I'm telling you, John Scheer, you are not going to sit up here tonight on Sports Arena and try and tell me that with what Philly is doing, that team is not ready to go right now to do what they need to do. They have been to the postseason, and Kawhi Leonard got a lucky bounce, which is why Philly lost that game. Okay, you ain't gonna sit up here,
but you're not gonna complain about a lucky Philly special to help you win the Super Bowl, right?
You're
not gonna complain about that. You're gonna complain about that. But you're gonna complain about getting lucky on a Philly special and Tom Brady dropping a one-handed pass.
Take a break.
You're not gonna complain about that. Okay, gotcha.
Go ahead.
It's a double standard.
No, it's not a double standard.
You don't complain about that Super Bowl, do you?
No, I don't complain about Super Bowl.
Okay, thank you.
Because we did what we had to do. Did we win?
And so did Toronto.
John, hold up, John. Since you like to be that guy, please hold.
I'm waiting. That's a scouting comment here.
John, hold on. I gotta find my microphone. I done lost everything tonight, and I'm blaming John Scheer. You can't even hear me.
I never got an Eric
look at this, John. I want you to look at this right here. Look, see this right here, John. This is all you need to worry about. This all you need to worry about. Okay, you come talk to me when your Miami Dolphins become relevant once again, because you lost the greatest coach you probably had outside of Don Shula and Brian Flores. You gonna sit up here and try with a straight face?
We got Mike McDaniel. I'm happy.
We're talking about basketball right now. Your Miami Heat can't hold a candle to my Philadelphia 76ers right now.
Besides being above them in the standings,
I hope we get you in the first round, John Scheer. That's exactly what I want. I don't care what we got to do. I want Miami.
We'll see fat suit Harden in a couple days.
Butler. I want all of them. I want all the smoke. Matter of fact, if I can get into any of them playoff games, I'm going down to Miami. I will drive 4 hours to watch your Miami Heat lose to my Philadelphia 76ers. And don't come back on this show trying to talk about, I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear no crying. I don't want to hear no
whining. Buy the ticket and I'll meet you in Philly. You buy the ticket.
John, I will pay for your flight to come down here.
Okay. All right.
And we will go to the Miami Heat game. You best believe that.
Okay.
But I'm telling you right now, Philadelphia is primed, poised, and ready to beat Miami and beat anybody else that stands in their way. We are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Book it, John Scheer.
This is a receipt, and I'll remember this.
Fine, you
49-38. I'll remember this.
I'm gonna tell you like Smokey from Friday. Write it down. Take a picture. Go ahead.
I got you. I don't forget.
Dude, okay. First, that's all John ever says.
It's winter, but it's hot in here.
First of all, if Philly would have, if New England would have won that game, they would have been talking about, when they threw the pass to Tom Brady in the first.
Mike, we ain't talking basketball. We ain't talking basketball. Just
football. I know.
Can you do me a favor? Can you just tell us one more time what your expectations is for Philly?
Philly is going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Book it, people.
Just wanted to make sure. Listen,
since we talking football,
all shade aside and all trolling aside, right? So let's be for real, John. I think people forget.
I'm never not real.
No, but I think people really forget that Joel Embiid is only in like year 5 or 6 or something like that. Like if we look back at some guys who've had some great success in this league, right? Michael Jordan didn't really hit his stride until 7 years in. LeBron didn't win until year 9, right? Like people forget that Embiid is still relatively young, and they go, "Oh, they haven't done anything in the playoffs." And when we talk about Harden, listen, man, in his 5 years that his teams were really good in the West, he lost to Golden State 4 times, and he lost to the 67-win Spurs the other time. It ain't like Hart never went out in the playoffs and lost to a team that he had no business losing to, right?
Congratulations, you get a participation trophy.
We're not talking about participation. We're just talking about facts,
No,
right? That's like you. I
That's like
bet
saying
you.
John
Hold on.
Stockton and Karl Malone did
on
get
John
championships,
show-
but we're going to hand them one for losing to Michael
Sideline
Jordan.
Sports, John Scheer is out of order. On the Sports Arena, goodbye. Go ahead, Raylene.
No, but listen, as a Miami Heat fan, I'm sure he felt good about the bubble year. His team made the finals. No, we don't give out participation trophies, but we have to look at facts as well. Like James Harden has had some boneheaded moments in the playoffs, but he's also led his team to 2 Western Conference finals. Like something, shout out to you, Michael Carton, that Chris Paul couldn't do in 15 years, right? So for all the flack that Harden gets, he done led his team to 2 Western Conference Finals, and he'd been to 3 of them. When he was
one of them was with Chris Paul, though. One of them was with Chris Paul, and if Chris Paul didn't get hurt, I think Houston wins that series.
Yeah, I mean, like, so I don't want to get into that whole argument because if you fast forward to the next year, the tables got turned and Kevin Durant got hurt, and they still couldn't beat him. So We're not going like they had their opportunity to get back. But Eric, I am 100% with you. Go check out my YouTube post All-Star preview, and I said Philly going to the Eastern Conference Finals, bro. Like
I've watched it. I've saw it all. You even gave love to Cleveland. You were like,
when John says,
but y'all were so shocked when I said Cleveland making it out of the first round. Cleveland making it out of the first round.
Oh no. So
I don't get it.
When John said that Miami, when he said
no better than that,
Miami.
Cleveland's not getting out.
See,
right.
John, I can't. Do you?
Hold on, but when John said that, he said Philly is below them in the standings. Are we taking into consideration the fact that the second best player on Philly hasn't played a game all year? There's no way they should be sitting in third in the East. Embiid has them there. And now they went and got him a legitimate superstar in this league, a guy who over the past 7-8 years has been a top 5 player in this league. He's the second best player on the team now, and Embiid is playing like the best player in the world.
Oh, Bam Adebayo missed a bunch of time. Jimmy Butler missed a bunch of time. Harrow missed a bunch of time. They had to deal with all the COVID stuff.
We understand
Oladipo's been out, but you're not going to talk about that.
John, Simmons hasn't played a single game. He quit on the team altogether.
Okay, that's one guy. We've missed a bunch of our best players.
Oh we missed
a bunch of our best players, and we're still in first.
By 2 games now. You lost tonight.
2 games, baby. First is first.
Yeah. Well, you don't got a better record than
Rams
the Suns.
won the Super Bowl. You can't say, well, the Bengals got close. Guess what? You didn't win. You're not in first. That's just how it is.
You choked away a big lead against Milwaukee tonight.
John Scheer. I'm going to tell you this. I cannot wait until the Miami Heat lose in the playoffs. I can't wait. We're going to come back to this moment because no team with Jimmy Butler as their best player can have any kind of real success. That bubble was a fluke. They was the worst team going into the playoffs, and they got to play in Florida and not go play on the road. They're going to get smoked. Second round is
you still celebrate the Lakers championship, correct? You still celebrate that championship?
I need to call Avery from Say What, Say It Again.
Oh, you want a participation trophy now? The one you just said.
You still celebrate that championship?
So you want a participation trophy? You just said we don't do those, John.
No, but you're saying it was a fluke.
You said we don't do those. We don't do participation. You do one or you didn't, right?
You said it was in the bubble.
Take them words. Eat them. They taste good, don't they?
I'm just saying you were saying it was in the bubble. You're mentioning the bubble. What does the bubble have to do with it?
Eric,
that why
I
the Heat
said
got
Philly
there?
Phoenix 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I said Philly Phoenix in the final. So,
John Scheer, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to call Avery Gray from Say What, Say It Again.
Career over.
It is not if, it is when Miami loses. I'm going to ask Avery if I can borrow career over for one night.
What about
just so I can do a career over for you for the Miami Heat?
What about when Philly loses?
I said into the Eastern Conference Finals, John. That's what I'm saying, and I'm holding to it.
All of y'all are talking about that, but that number 8 team and then that bad man coming back tomorrow night.
They might lose in the first round if they get Brooklyn. Hey, John, let me ask you a serious question about your team.
KD comes back rested tomorrow night.
Serious question, John.
I'm listening.
Against the Heat. Is that right? They got to play the Heat tomorrow night.
I'm sorry?
Do you want Oladipo in the lineup? Because I said this on my post All-Star break preview. I said it on Monday Night Show that Oladipo ain't even played a game. Do you even want him to come back though?
Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you add him to that lineup? The lineup's already a great lineup. Why wouldn't you add that? You don't have to pencil him in for 28 minutes. You just slowly work him back in. They're the number 1 seed. Like, they're doing fine. They can work him back in. It's not like they're a 7 seed trying to claw up. They're doing fine, and they can work him back in with where he's at. And actually, they said he looks like he's in great shape right now, which is good.
John, just really quick, I want to piggyback off that. You and I and everybody here on the Sports Arena definitely knows that when a player has not played for an extended period of time, no matter what the time frame is, it takes them a couple of games to get back into their rhythm. It takes a couple of games for the team to get back into their continuity. Is Bam Adebayo really who you want to bring back in during the playoffs? The playoffs, John. Let's think about this one.
No, Bam's back.
I'm sorry, not Bam. I'm sorry.
Oladipo.
Thank you. Oladipo.
Well, he's going to come off the bench, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, he'll probably get, I would imagine, like 14 minutes, maybe like 14.
You're gonna have to do minute restriction, like how they handle Boogie Cousins. That's how they're gonna have to handle.
But he can do that. He can give you energy and give you some shots. Like, they're not gonna give him a full workload.
Hey, I bet you this much. I bet you if Brooklyn's still sitting in that 8th seed towards the end of the year, you're gonna see teams resting players to not be in that 1st seed. I bet you that.
Facts. Facts. Mike Carrottenuto, I'm gonna give you the final word, and then we got to get out of here, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Cleveland could be a surprise team to get out of the first round. I did agree with Megan on that the other night because of the way they play defense. And like I just said to Raylan before, if you turn the playoffs in to, as Megan knows, being a Spurs fan, Popovich said, cool, let teams run all season long. See how they do in the half court in the postseason because everybody wants to slow it down. Guys in this day and age don't want to slow it down. So look, Harden proved he could be point guard when he played with, because Kyrie, wanted to play off the ball and, whatever Kyrie's little world thing, he wanted to play off the ball. And I just love how John rips on Harden. I think Philly does win the East. I think Brooklyn with this team next year, if that team stays together next year and they knock on wood, Simmons plays, I'd like to see them all play healthy together. I think it'd be entertaining, but no, Philly wins the East this year. Cause if they come across Brooklyn in the playoffs, Harden's going to want to absolutely destroy Kyrie. And I mean, I'm not because I think it's Kyrie's fault he left anyway, and he wanted to get out of there. So Philly wins the East. Look, I do like what Chicago did. I know I like to give Tyler a hard time. It was like you're almost Milwaukee pick because I said Chicago wouldn't even get close to the playoffs. Eric, remember when you were talking about their signings? Hey, I'm eating my crow. Chicago's going to the playoffs. They're not winning the East. It's Philly's East to win. Embiid has a guy that he knows that can play phenomenal offense. And as we saw from the bubble and even last year before the hamstring hurt, he'll play situational defense. So Philly wins the East. And no, I'm not. There's no punchline, Eric. I got your back. I'm supporting you. So
no, I know.
There's no joke.
Like I said, I appreciate it. Yeah, this has been great. I can't stress enough how much I have missed y'all. Thank y'all for holding it down Monday. The only reason I came back on here tonight was because I just we had to have that conversation. And thank y'all for helping me get my mind right. Now I can go back to doing National Scouting Combine stuff, which everybody make sure you tune in to the Sideline Sports Network YouTube channel tomorrow. Live coverage beginning at 10 a.m. The free agents are doing their 40 time, their broad jump. They're doing all of that. So for Mike Carrottenuto, Believe in the Pac-12, Megan Price, our queen of hoops in the sip-off 806 with Megan, not this Thursday, but next Thursday, the 10th, when Philly plays Brooklyn in Philly. I might have to be on the sip-off, but I might be a little too intoxicated before I even get there because that's going to be a primetime game. Sports reporter, and as Ty Ray likes to call him, co-host without pay, Ray Lynn, and my man, John Scheer, everybody here at the Sports Arena. Thank y'all so much. We will talk to y'all on Monday. See ya.